This is a product demonstration of the OEM butt connectors, Volkswagen Audi part number 0009799940. These were originally introduced with the airbag wiring harness repair kit. They're specifically designed for the smaller diameter wires, a 0.5 millimeter diameter wire, which is a very common size throughout the wiring harness in the Volkswagen and Audi cars. When doing wiring harness repair, you need some basic tools. Wire strippers. Now these type of wire strippers with the notches in them, they will work, but they're not the best type to use. I prefer an automatic wire stripper like these. These are MAC branded. I have seen this type of wire stripper before at Home Depot. You need a set of pliers to compress the crimp itself, the butt connector. This is a Blue Point model number 29CP. From what I can tell, the channel lock model numbers 909 are the same type of pliers, but I've not seen them firsthand. You need a heat source to do the heat shrinking on the butt connector. And then of course we had the butt connectors themselves. Now this is a smaller butt connector than the red ones that we've seen before. Just so you know, Volkswagen specifies that no soldering is ever to be done on the wiring harness. It has to be done with butt connectors. So we have a seat heater wiring harness pigtail here, and I'm going to show you two different sizes of the wires. The red with the gray trace is a 1 millimeter diameter, and then the blue with gray trace is a 0.5 millimeter diameter wire. Now the butt connectors that I'm selling here will not work with a 1 millimeter diameter wire. As you can see, the 1 millimeter wire is obviously larger than the 0.5 millimeter on the right. The reason the butt connectors I sell won't work is the 1 millimeter wire just does not simply fit inside the metal part of the barrel. You do not want to bend or strands back and force it to fit. Whereas the 0.5 millimeter wire fits right in. If you are to use a red butt connector on a 0.5 millimeter wire, it's too large of a barrel. On the barrel itself, there's a little notch in there that marks the center point of the barrel itself. I use that to help me line it up when I put them in the pliers. I leave a little bit of a space between the middle point and the pliers themselves. So here we've got a butt connector loaded up into the pliers. I'm using the bare part, and just simply take my wire and insert, and then squeeze. Now I don't squeeze as hard as I can. A proper crimp will compress the barrel onto the strands but not split apart the yellow sleeve of the connector itself. So the yellow sleeve has not been split, it's just been compressed. So there we see a good crimp. You want to make sure you crimp good enough to grab the wires, but like I said, not too much where you start to split anything apart. So a little tug test to make sure it's gripping good. So of course load the barrel back up, or the butt connector back up, insert my other wire to complete my repair, and crimp again. You don't have to line your crimp up like I did here, but neatness can count for some people. A little tug test to make sure I've got a good crimp. So now we're ready to heat shrink. So I'm using a flameless torch to do the heat shrinking with. Now I must stress, even though it's a flameless torch, you can still burn something and possibly catch the car on fire when working inside a cramped area. Extreme caution when you do this step in a car, please. The adhesive lined butt connectors, the advantages of them is that when you shrink them down, they have like hot melt glue on them that bonds to the insulation of the wire to help support it and seal out dirt and moisture. This is good because obviously it keeps the crimp from getting dirt and moisture and then corroding and falling apart. And I don't know how many times I've seen just plain old butt connectors used in an engine bay and they're rotted apart. And also this helps support the wire where it doesn't fatigue the copper strands right at the crimp and then breaks apart from that as well. So a close-up, you can see how the wire has been glued or sealed off with glue. So now in a real-world application, this comes in handy. We are now looking at a engine control module wiring harness from a Eurovan. Bonus points if you can guess what sensor this goes to or what component these wires go to. They had bad terminals, removed the wires and the terminals, used the wiring harness repair, and used the yellow butt connectors. And when it was all done, I was able to conceal everything under the cap, so you could not see any repair work had been done. So that's pretty much it. If you need to contact me, I'm Pencil Neck at TDI Club and VW Vortex. And again, you can purchase these at 4130-products.com/crimp. Thank you for watching.